And as we have been reporting that the ANC has invited all political parties represented in Parliament to form a government of national unity. The party's National Executive Committee met in Ekurhuleni to map a way forward following last month's elections. The ANC has been forced to form a coalition government with other political parties for the next 5 years after losing its majority. Alliance partners have given their opinion on who they'd prefer the ANC to work with and why. Now we are joined by the ANC Veterans League President Snuki Zikalala to get the sense of what they make of the announcement that followed the NEC meeting. Baba Zikalala, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for making time for us. So following that NEC meeting, what is it that the ANC Veterans League has been mulling over?
Well, as the ANC Veterans League, we fully support the outcome of the NEC on Wednesday. And of course, we regret that we've lost 17% of our votes. And of course, they were mainly taken by MK party, and we never saw it coming. But at the same time, we are saying that our people of South Africa have spoken and against the ANC's failure to address the basic issues like service delivery and also corruption. And so, we are determined, and the ANC is determined to ensure that those who are found involved in malfeasance, they should be dealt with by law enforcement agencies. And so we fully support the Government of National Unity. We fully support the program that was spelled out by the President of the ANC after the ANC. And so we hope that parties will come together, and the President made it very clear that there are bare minimums that all the parties must look at. It's a question of ensure that the parties that we enter into any agreement with, we have to have shared common values. Values like stability, accountability, ethics, integrity, community participation, good governance, and of course the constitutional democracy is sacrosanct, cannot be discussed nor debated. And of course, the question of the rule of law in the country. And so those are the bare minimums that we are saying, that on those issues we are not compromising. Secondly, the President made it very clear that our 6 priorities should be adhered to. And that's one of the old things that the President said we should look at is a question of put South Africa first to work, build our industries, invest in our people, and also make sure that we defend democracy and ensure that our people's lives are being safe, and we provide quality service in terms of health and education. Those are the 6 priorities, and of course get rid of corruption. And we don't compromise on those issues because we believe in unitary state, and also we believe in mobilizing all South Africans of all racial groups to be part and parcel of this new path that we are about to begin, especially on the 7th administration.
Yeah. What's the Veterans League's interim assessment of what went wrong here? 17%, that is the biggest loss that the ANC has ever suffered since the dawn of our democracy, and also losing around 71 seats in the National Assembly. What do you think, as the Veterans League, went wrong?
Well, what went wrong is that we were not decisive, to be honest with you, and taking action against Jacob Zuma when he formed the Umkhonto we Sizwe party, because he said he's a member of the Umkhonto we Sizwe party. At the same time, he's a member of the African National Congress. Of course, discipline should have been taken immediately. Of course, the DC was taken, and of course, when we were supposed to be, and he was to go to a DC, he said he was not well, and it was postponed. And the time when you're supposed to have a DC physically, then Umkhonto we Sizwe people wanted to come and demonstrate and disrupt the DC proceedings. And so we said, for safety's sake, let's postpone it to after the elections. And this confused our people. I'm not saying that our people are blind, our people are ignorant. It confused our people because we are made to understand that in some of the voting stations in the rural areas, the MK people said to ordinary South Africans that when you see the spear and the face of Jacob Zuma, he's still a member of the African National Congress. And when you vote for MK party, you're still voting for the ANC because Zuma is still a member of the African National Congress. And so have we dealt with that immediately? I'm sure that was not going to confuse our people. Secondly, have we dealt with those who are implicated in state capture as speedily as possible? People would have seen that we are serious in dealing with corruption, but the ANC has committed itself to make sure that those who who are involved in state capture and VBS will be dealt with. They will be dealt with severely, because the only thing that is it's outstanding is the law enforcement agencies. They must speed up these cases so that people must not think that there's a witch hunt within the African National Congress. That's what went wrong. Of course, it's a question of our structures on the ground. They were not strong. They were not solid. I was deployed in KZN, especially in a branch called a sub branch called Gezehlegisa. And I asked them, but you're still called Gezehlegisa branch? They said, yes, we'll change the branch after the elections. The comrades were accommodative. The comrades supported the values and the principles of the ANC. There was no sign of MK party there, none at all. And for some of us, we're really shocked. We're really shocked. And so up to now, we don't know how did this happen. But all that we're saying is a question of political education. A renewal program must start immediately on the ground. The Veterans League Renewal Committee met on Wednesday, where we are saying we're going to start political education at ground level, so that people must know the values, the principles, and the program of action of the African National Congress. That's the only thing that we can do. And of course, we make sure that coming 2026 elections, we have dealt with the issues of service delivery. I was deployed also to deal with local government initiative. We did our best. But it was too late. Of course, we made sure that transformers are there in Soweto, in Midlands, that there's no electricity disruptions. We did our best. And I think we are capable of fixing what is broken within the local government municipalities, and ensure that we provide quality services to our people. We as veterans, we are fully behind the program that the president pronounced, and we hope that the government of national unity will give us stability and ensure that we bring more investments inside the country itself.
Yeah. What about Phala Phala? Don't you think that could have played a role as well in how the ANC handled Phala Phala? And take you back to how the ANC, for instance, handled issues relating to former President Jacob Zuma and the motions of no confidence, which were all defeated up until I think the last one was in September 2018. And about 5-6 months later, the ANC then decides to recall former President Jacob Zuma. He asked, why are you calling on me to step down? Then comes Phala Phala. Phala Phala happens. There's a Section 89 panel report. It says that there's prima facie evidence. There should be a panel that is set up. The panel was then set up, and whether there should be an inquiry then that is led by Parliament to look into whether the President himself is guilty of any of the prima facie evidence that was put forward. The ANC had an NEC meeting. The NEC meeting decided that they will defend the President in Parliament, which they did on the basis that the President is going to take the report on review. Later on, the Constitutional Court said, well, actually, we can't be the court of first instance for this, therefore take it back to a lower court. The President then decided that the matter is moot because Parliament has already adopted not to adopt this particular report. Again, it was the ANC using its majority, some would argue, to circumvent the level of accountability that is required to hold the President also accountable.
Yeah. Eldrin, in terms of Phala Phala, the Integrity Commission, which is chaired by Reverend Frank Chikane, has put in recommendations, and it has cleared the President. The Integrity Commission has done its job. And so, in as far as we are concerned, as the African National Congress, we can't go back to that. And the report will be presented to the NEC as soon as possible by the SG. And so I think the sooner he does that in the next NEC, the better, because as we are saying that people think that the President is still guilty of Phala Phala. But that matter has been dealt with by the Integrity Commission. There are no cases that the Integrity Commission has not dealt with. Cases that affect the integrity of the organization that were referred and where the Integrity Commission called individuals to come and account. It has no cases on their books currently. And so the issues that are dealing with legislative matters and court matters, I can't get into that because I'm not part of those processes. I'm sure the presidency is in a better position to answer that, or the new Speaker of Parliament will be in a position to answer that.
Yeah, but from as the Veterans League, how do you view how the ANC dealt with that particular matter? And we can't say that the ANC's Integrity Committee is it almost like the equivalent of a Section 89, an 89 panel. This is the party's own internal processes to hold its own members accountable. Then there is the process that happens outside of the political arena within the ANC that is happening in Parliament, and the ANC essentially circumvented that.
Adrian, what we are saying is that even the president said in his own words, let the SIU investigate and take action against him. Now, we are waiting for that report. That report is still not there. The president made it very clear that let them do so, and he's not going to interfere with the arms of the law. And he has never interfered. And so we then plead with the SIU to speed up the investigation and so that this matter is laid to rest. And so there's nothing more that we can do, to be honest with you. And so we depend entirely on the law enforcement agencies to do their work. And the president has never interfered, and he has made it very clear that he is not going to interfere. And so I would really plead that let's wait for the law enforcement agencies
it's not about the president necessarily, but it's about the ANC and the conduct of the ANC when it comes to their presidents. And again, I pointed out what happened with former President Jacob Zuma and what is happening now with President Cyril Ramaphosa. So it's about the conduct of the party and how people who are part of the electorate view the ANC and how the ANC uses its power in Parliament.
Yeah, but all that you're saying, Adrian, the internal processes were not yet complete, and we cannot rush into issues that affecting the individual, whether it's guilty or not guilty. For instance, to take the issue of Zikalala, we had to wait for the NPA to charge him. We have to wait for that. Though he was infringing at the state capture, we had to wait for that. And so when once he was charged, Zizi, last week on Wednesday, he immediately stepped aside. And so we believe in the rule of law as the African National Congress. That is why we are saying parties that enter into an agreement with the ANC, they must believe in the rule of law, because no one is above the law in this country at all. No individual is above the rule of law.
Yeah, but even when it comes to Zikalala, the ANC Veterans League came out to say that people implicated in state capture, in the State Capture Commission of Inquiry, must not be allowed to stand for Parliament. They must not be on the list, even before he was charged. So the Veterans League was able to make that particular call without saying that we're only going to wait for him to be charged first, and then we're going to say that they must step aside. But let's move over now to the conversation around the government of national unity. How would the Veterans League like to see this play out? Who should be mediating? Who should be facilitating this conversation? The UDM has called for a retired judge alongside other political parties, calling for a retired judge to be appointed. What's the Veterans League's take on this?
Well, what we are saying in our document on coalitions and agreements that we have to enter with other parties, we are saying that the party that has won the largest votes should lead the coalition agreement in government or in municipalities. We have won the largest vote. We've got 40% of our people said the ANC must still lead in terms of government. The second party that is there is the DA, and then of course the third party is MK Party. The fourth party is EFF, and the fifth party is IFP. And so that is why the African National Congress is leading the negotiations in terms of forming a government of national unity. And of course, there's a competent team that has been set up by the president, that is the 5 officials, plus 4 competent NEC members who are part and parcel of that team. And of course, as veterans, we wanted to be part and parcel of that team, but we felt that the team is too big. If you have too many people, it will cause a lot of confusion. And so we decided, especially as Veterans League, the Youth League, and Women's League, we wanted to be part and parcel of that team. But we have confidence in that team that they'll be able to bring about a solution that will unite South Africans. It has shown, these elections have shown that we have drifted away from the so-called colored communities, we've drifted away from the Indian community, we've drifted away from the white community. These are South Africans. The second biggest party, which is the DA, they won 20% of the votes. And so you can't just wish them away and aside. And so those are South African citizens. And so we believe in the will of people. And so we are saying that let them go in there, put our principles on the table. Let's agree with a party that will say they support our constitutional values, they support the rule of law, and also they support the economic development of the country. We have lost lots of investments just before the elections results were announced. And so we want to draw back those investments and create jobs in the country, bring about stability in the country. That's what is important. We're a unitary state, want to bring all South Africans together. That is why we believe in the government of national unity.
Yeah. And then with that said as well, the Veterans League had before come out, even before the elections, to say that the ANC should at least look into working with the Democratic Alliance. Where does the Veterans League stand now, considering that the ANC is below that 50% plus one majority? Are there any political parties that you are saying that it's a total no-no?
Well, the party that we said it's a total no-no, but the NEC said let's go back to them. It's a MK party and the EFF. MK party because they are saying that they don't recognize the constitution itself. They put in a condition first, but understand they withdraw it to saying that the president must not be president of the ANC, and then because they're unreliable. Some of them are using state capture money. And so, but the NEC said, let's approach them, let's talk to them. We agree with what the NEC said. We are part and parcel, we're an integral part of the ANC. But we know very well that you won't reach any conclusion with the MK party because they don't have a constitution, they don't have structures, they don't abide by our constitutional values. And so we know they don't meet the criteria that we've made. The same thing with EFF. We said as the Veterans League on the EFF that we know that in municipalities where we have co-governed, that the MMC's position that we've given them, they've misused them. Yeah. But we are saying that let's give them a chance, let's hear what they are saying, but we are not going to compromise on our constitutional values, on the rule of law, which they don't believe in, and of course on governance. We are not going to compromise on that. Okay. And so we are saying, let's talk to all of them. But we are very skeptical of the MK party, we are skeptical of the EFF, but we'll go with what the collective is saying, because the collective said, let's talk to them. They must buy into our value system. Right. And so if they don't, tough luck.